I love making something out of nothing. I'm not trained, but I am brave and determined. Of course, I could hire a professional, but DIY first. Once I get everything glued up and all of that, then I can go take it all back outside and sand it all down again, like the final sand, and then move on to paint. All right, it's time to prep for paint. Last night off camera, I did go in and kind of did some wood filler on the panels of the cabinets, filled in some holes and some like gouge marks or whatever from this pretty much low quality plywood that I have here. So what I'm gonna do is like sand that part down and also like sand around, make sure there's no splinters or anything. I've been kind of going back and forth about how to finish these because I do know that the edges around here will be painted as well as the panel in the middle, but my initial thought was to do two-tone and stain this solid wood parts that go like the surround, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll just paint the whole thing one color. That would be easier and quicker, but if I paint it, then I can't really go back. Since this is gonna be the backdrop pretty much for my videos, it would be good to kind of have just like a solid background, minimal distractions and things, but I thought that the two-tone might look pretty cool, but I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do it. The other thing about doing the two-tone is if the drawers don't perfectly line up beside each other, having that two-tone will probably make that a lot more obvious, and that's not necessarily like desired. So I'm not sure. I'm still kind of 50-50. I haven't quite decided yet, but first things first, I'm gonna get these sanded down and clean them off, and then I'll be ready for paint. By that time I will have made a decision one way or the other because it must be made today. So let me get started. Hey guys, it's the next day. Off camera, I did the second coat of paint on the drawer fronts. So I'm going to get them installed, and then I'm going to prep to do the doors on the base cabinets. I decided to wait until the next phase to do the tall cabinet because I want to do organization next. And once I kind of figure out what's going to go where, then I'll kind of be able to know exactly how to use this tile cabinet, and that'll dictate how I do the doors. The other thing I'm thinking about is, do I want to do the doors out of this piece of plywood I have here, or would it be better to use MDF or something like that? Something that maybe won't warp as much, because I don't know if I trust this plywood. The other pieces I've had some issues with. So we'll see. We'll see what I decide on that. I'm kind of don't want to use MDF because, you know, garage, outdoors, moisture in the air, humidity, things like that. But I'll think about it. Anyway, I'm going to get the drawer fronts on, and let me show you the handles I picked. So my original plan was to use one handle on everything, and I picked black. It'll be kind of black on black. They'll kind of blend into the background, but also I didn't think I wanted the handles to stand out. I didn't want that to be like a focal point since it's garage. So I just picked these basic black, super basic black handles. And the plan was to use these on everything in here. And then anything I have extra, save it for a future project. But when I drilled the holes for the top drawers, the holes I drilled actually missed the drawer itself. So I was like, that's not the vibe. So I also bought these pulls, basic pulls. And I left all 3 holes there because I'm not sure which I'm going to use, but I have the option to use either one. And whichever hole I don't use, I'll fill it in. So still trying to figure that part out, but I know with these being black and a basic shape, I'll be able to use these basically anywhere. And if I want to change the look of them, I can paint them or do something like that. So anyway, this is what I picked. We're going black on black with these cabinet drawer fronts. Y'all, it's the next day, and I don't know, I think my outfit has stayed the same because I've just been kind of putting these clothes on and off every day. I come out here, work a little bit, as long as they didn't get super sawdusty, because I haven't really been cutting anything the last couple of days. It's more so been like painting and kind of light work, so I just been putting the same thing on. Obviously, if it's really messed up, I wash it, but I am making good progress. Yesterday I came out here, I think I attempted to record, but I forgot to push record. But I went ahead and secured the drawer fronts in place and put the extra screws on the inside to make sure that they don't move or anything like that. Make sure that they're really solid in place. So I got a few things left to finish this portion of the cabinetry. One thing is that I need to fill in the gaps at the top between the top of the cabinet and the front, the drawer front face. There's a little bit of a gap there, and so I need to put a filler piece on the cabinet box itself to fill in that gap and then paint that. Also, I need to finish the doors that go on the base cabinets here. There are 3 doors, and I need to do that and, you know, secure those, you know, paint them, secure them in place, put the handles, all of that stuff on there. Before I do that though, I do want to test out on just a piece of scrap to make sure that the hinges, the concealed hinges, will work with the 1/2 inch wood and the 1/4 inch trim piece. I want to make sure that the hinge doesn't pop through the front side of that 1/2 inch piece, or that at least the full mechanism is behind that trim piece. So I'm going to do a little test on that to make sure before I do anything else. So I probably will need to cut some extra trim pieces to fit the doors and just kind of see how that goes. So once I get that cut and glued up, then once that dries, I'll come back and paint it and be ready to install. And then will that be done? Will that be it? Fill in the gap, put the doors, and paint and install. I think that's it on this portion. Still need to figure out the door for the pull-out section, but I'm not ready to do it. I think I'll do that when I do these doors for the tall cabinet, because I'm still trying to figure out that part. So we'll see. We'll see. My concern with the tall cabinet is that, first of all, because I'm not sure right now at this moment what's going to go in there, I'm not sure what type of doors or what type of mechanisms I need to put in place to make it as functional as possible. Maybe some pull-outs in certain places, or maybe it'll just be doors all the way, 2 really long doors, 3 separate compartments. I'm not really sure. So I need to figure that out. But also the material. So I probably have talked about this in a previous video from what you're seeing, because today is the day that I'm filming this footage is January 2nd. And also today I'm filming other footage that you will have already seen by this point, kind of explaining my plans for the next year. But a part of that is to try to avoid financial waste as much as possible, because I feel like some of my past purchases for materials has led to waste, just simply because of the low quality of materials that were available at places like, you know, Home Depot or whatever. So I ordered this plywood. I ordered several sheets of plywood back when I first got ready to work on this project. I guess it would have been over a year ago now. And the quality of some of the plywood is pretty low quality. Now, I understand that these are building materials. These are not materials that are necessarily created for furniture or whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be cabinet grade. So the fact that some of the pieces were warped or bowed by the time I got ready to use them, you know, it just kind of feels like a waste. And so now I'm kind of stuck with it. This one piece in particular that was severely bowed. I'm kind of stuck with this piece and trying to figure out, you know, how can I utilize this and make it to where it's not a total waste. But I'm having to really think hard about what material I'm using, particularly for the doors, because these doors are huge. So it's very easy, if it's not good quality material, for them to warp and bow, and that would just be a waste of, first of all, materials, but also my time and energy putting it into creating this space, and then maybe having later to take it down and redo it. And I just feel like a better quality material will maybe help me avoid that potentially. So that's kind of where I am. That's kind of why I'm gonna just pause temporarily and separate out that project from this project, because I want to go ahead and get this done. I have the materials and things to finish this part, and hopefully they last. But I mean, I can only control so much. So I'm going to use what I have to finish this part, and I may have to buy maybe one more sheet of plywood to do the door over here, and maybe for that piece, although I'm not sure about that side over there for the pull out. Anyway, that's where I am, and that's kind of the thought process that I'm having right now. But first things first, finish these doors today. And let me just say, as I was securing these drawer fronts in place, I did use my level at the top to try to, you know, make sure that each one was level. And that worked pretty well until I got over here to this fourth bay over here. But I kind of felt like maybe eyeballing it was better, because, you know, I did the glue of the trim pieces and stuff like that, but I wasn't necessarily measuring or trying to make sure it was like a perfect 90-degree. I mean, I just stuck them on there and just got it like close enough. And so I feel like just eyeballing it and getting the spacing to look right, even if it's not perfectly level, you know, just for the spacing to look even and look good to the eye was kind of my goal, because the drawers are functional. So what I'm doing now is just decorative. So that's kind of where I was. So maybe that's a tip for somebody if you're thinking about doing something like this. Maybe just eyeball the spacing when you attach the drawer fronts to make sure that they are good. If you're doing this type and it's not necessarily 100% square in the corners, maybe I could have taken more time to make sure that they were, but I mean, it wasn't that serious to me. So either take the time to make sure that they are perfectly square and everything is measured just right, and you know, you can use the little cards, you know, playing cards, or use spacers, whatever you have. You can do it that way. That would probably be the right way, but I feel like it's good enough for what I'm doing. Oh, I remember the third thing. I need to fill these holes in. So maybe I'll do that first, and then I'll start on the, well, I'll start on the doors first, because that's the thing I'm procrastinating on. I'm gonna do the doors, cut the trim, get those doors glued up. While that dries, I will work on filling in the holes here that needs to be patched in on the top drawers, and filling in the gaps. And then maybe by the time I do that, maybe it'll be ready for a first coat of paint. So we'll see. Anyway, enough talking. Let me go ahead and get started. It's whatever day of this project. I don't even know how many days at this point, but I'm determined to make this the final day for this video. I will be finishing this video today. I'm going to be going back and forth between different projects today. So right now I have about 30 minutes. The first thing I need to do is prep these doors for paint. They have dried overnight, and so the glue is dry, the wood filler is dry, everything is ready to go. I also need to, I'm gonna go ahead and drill the holes for the hinges before I sand and paint and all of that. So I'm gonna do that first, and then sand these down, and I'm gonna let the dust settle for a little while I go in the house and do some other things. So right now I'm making bread, so I have 30 minutes before the next phase of what I need to do. So that's my plan, is to try to get this done. Let me get started.
Yeah. No. No.
Well guys, this felt like a never-ending project, but it is finally done. All of the doors and drawer fronts for both sides of the base cabinets have been installed, and I'm glad it's over. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and organize and figure out where to store things, because after that I'm going to be figuring out what to do with this big tall cabinet here, and then figuring out what kind of specialized storage solutions I may need to come up with. So the next step is organization, and just total transparency, I am feeling very much overwhelmed by just the thought of it. I'm not even sure where to start, but organization is my specialty. So I'm going to get myself together and figure this thing out. I don't know if I'm going to do it today. I kind of thought about just going on into the next project today, just like not stopping, but again, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, and getting these doors on took way longer than it needed to. So I don't know, maybe I'll just kind of clean up and kind of go from there. One major issue is all of the wood. So maybe I need to start there, but I don't know. Y'all wish me luck. I'll see y'all next week for another video.